And I may proceed here and welcome everyone to this Wednesday's meeting on UpNote. And our own member, MacKay, or MacKay as they say in Scotland, is going to be the presenter. We're looking forward to that, Anne. You're a regular presenter to our organization, and we appreciate very much that you do that for us. We're looking forward to a very informative session today. I know our audience will be very active as usual. Sheeta will make sure that the interaction is done, is managed well, that everybody has a chance to ask his or her question. So again, that's what I have to say. Happy that we are able to meet again. And Mike, if you have some announcements, please go ahead and make those.
I do indeed. Thank you very much, Eckhart. Just share my screen. Very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Just three or four announcements to make before we dive in. Our class season continues, and Joe is with us this coming Saturday. Can't wait for this. You all know him, a profoundly good speaker. He's talking about online privacy. I'm just going to read this because I think it's really important. Using any electronic device risks your personal information. Joe Kissel explains who wants your data and how to create a customized privacy plan. He'll be dealing with major offenders like Facebook, Google, and data brokers, securing your internet connection, using Apple's privacy features, blocking ads and trackers, communicating privately online, and the privacy implications of social media and Internet of Things devices. The class also explains common privacy misconceptions. So that's this Saturday, folks. So if you haven't already signed up, please do. As ever with Joe's meetings, I believe I'm right in saying, Eckhart, that the meeting includes a copy of Joe's book?
Yes, it will.
Yes. So not to be missed. And next week's session, next Wednesday, Jason Snell is back with his sort of annual roundup of a look back on Apple's performance during the past year, as seen through the eyes of writers, editors, developers, podcasters, and the like. So that's same time, same place next Wednesday. And today, and do you prefer MacKay or MacKay?
I do MacKay when I'm in the US and MacKay when I'm in Scotland.
Ah, a floating surname. Right, right. Thank you. So I'm just going to stop my share now and pass the baton to Sheeta so that she can just talk about questions.
Absolutely.
Sheeta, thank you.
Okay, yes. And this is Sheeta in the US and Sheeta everywhere else around the world. And how would you like to handle questions today? Do you want to have them during your presentation or do you want to wait?
I would just as soon wait because I might get my flow interrupted.
Okay. All right, everyone, we do not want to interrupt Anne's groove. So what I would like you to do is please place your questions in the chat. We will get to them at the appropriate time. And I do want to ask one participant, DRA TOSE, can you please give me your full name? I've tried to contact you. You have not responded. I need your full name in the participants list. Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to hand it off to you, Anne.
Okay, thank you very much. And I am going to share my screen here and get started. I'm here to tell you about my favorite app for note-taking, UpNote, and I'm also going to cover kind of how I got to this point. And I've identified this as the ultimate note-taking solution. So let's move on. To give you a little bit of background why I am here at the user group, I started with a Mac in 1985. And that works out to 40 years with Apple products. And I ran a state association by myself for 4 years with that Mac 512. I think they hired me because I had a computer. And then remember the workhorse, the SE30? that was a real workhorse. And over the 9 years I worked for the state association, we ended up with 4 employees, all networked with Apple machines. I've been a leader in Apple user groups in Columbia, Maryland. I'm a member of the Apple World User Group University, and I'm a member of the NMUG. This is my 3rd time out as a speaker. Presently, I'm the co-leader with Hope Tillman of the Charlestown User Group, which is based in a retirement community. And I started that in 2013 because I felt I missed user groups. And I'm kind of a lifelong learner, and I like to learn about software especially. And you'll see that reflected as I go along further. The agenda today, I'm going to cover, I hope my husband will pick up that phone, why I'm using UpNote, how I got there, and I'm going to talk quite extensively about the features, and I'll do some comparison to the Apple Notes app and talk about some of the drawbacks compared to Notes. So I gave a program in September of 2022, and this is a slide from that deck when I explained about Evernote and how I used it for my own second brain. And I continued to use Evernote because it met my needs, but I left Evernote in the summer of 2023 because of the new owner, Bending Spoons in Italy. And although I had been using Evernote since 2008, there was quite a bit of uncertainty about its future. You know, the CEO left the company. They were adding features which people didn't like. It was getting kind of hard to use and kind of bloated. But when they increased the fee 80% for me, I said, I'm out of here. And the price now for the professional Evernote is $169.99. So that was my my reason for leaving. So what did I do? I transitioned to the Apple Notes app. I had been using it on and off, but it was not my main note taking app. And it was fairly easy to transfer because Apple Notes did allow exporting of the proprietary files from Evernote. And I did set it up with the Para system, which I talked about in 2022. That's Diego Forte's system of organizing your second brain. And but what bothers me about Notes to this day is the design. As an older person, I have great difficulty reading yellow on white. In fact, it's almost impossible. And it was just very hard to read. And I think when Joe Kristen Boyce talked about Notes at the last meeting, and to me, looking at some of his screenshots, and you can see the yellow on white just kind of fades away. It's showing up pretty good here in this slide, but in real life, it fades away. And I have difficulty reading it. And there isn't a way to change the main font color in Notes in the old days. So I decided this quote from Anne-Laurie LaCouf from Nest Labs kind of summed up my feeling about Note apps. A nagging thought arises, isn't there a better tool out there? And all of a sudden you're looking for alternatives and watching tutorials. And that's been my experience. I've followed Tom Solid and Diego Forte on YouTube So I've watched lots of videos on different apps and what they could do. And I'm going to just give you a little rundown of some of the apps that I've tried. And some kind of reflect kind of a shiny toy syndrome. And that's where you keep looking for something to meet your needs. In fact, when I was kind of researching what does shiny toy syndrome really mean, it talked about you get a hit of dopamine when you are looking for something new and exciting. And I'm thinking, well, that explains some of the reasons why I've been
Right.
down to the shiny toy syndrome. I've
Right.
explained that, I think, enough. But these are the apps that I paid money for and tried over the years. Bear, I stuck with that about a year, but there was something, it didn't quite have what I needed. I was not a markdown person. AmpleNote I tried. It's good for to-do lists, but it didn't really meet my needs for capturing research. And of course, Evernote is kind of the OG of note apps. I experimented with Notion. You know, everybody was high on Notion, but that was more than I needed. It had all these lovely dashboards and templates, but I didn't need that kind of level, and I was not going to spend my life organizing in Notion. Obsidian was another one I played around with. I found that was too complicated. And the dark mode that was used for the main background, I have difficulty with dark mode with the white text. And for fun, I've been using GoodNotes for years, and that's usually my play around app using my pencil on the iPad when in the evening when I'm not in front of my computer. So that's my evolution with note apps. And now I have settled on UpNote, which I discovered in December of 2023. And that was watching a YouTube video on note taking. And it's a simple design. It's a very clean design. There's a real kind of visual delight for me. And it has some of the intuitive folder design that Notes have, and also Evernote had, which I really like. Very feature rich, and a lifetime payment for $39.99, which is not a subscription plan. Subscription plans can get pretty pricey over the years. And to give you a feel for what I'm talking about for the visual aspects, you can see on the left is the notes, the notebooks with the yellow background and the folders. And the middle one is showing the notebook list in UpNote. And if I tap on that word notebooks, you'll see on the far right how I've customized. My husband better get the phone. He did. I've customized the notebook covers with icons, which that's another thing I like to do is play around and customize things. So that's the visual aspect that I really like with UpNote. Now I'm going to talk about some of the features using slides, and then I will do a demo in UpNote. So let me run through the features that are available. One thing, it is cross-platform, so it's available with Apple and Windows and Linux, which is a real plus for people that work in both environments. The note editor is very complete, and it syncs across all your devices. It's also available offline. You can select different themes. Of course, there's dark mode. I stick with a light theme. Instead of a web clipper, it has a web clipper extension. And also it provides